Hi, good morning. I'm Karanina and we will be discussing about developing an effective office management. Here, we will be tackling about tips and techniques of an office administrator, creating a process flow for different tasks, creating schedules and to-do lists, effectively using outlooks, schedulers, planners, an ideal office management system, framework for an ideal office management system, and making things easy as an office administrator. So, what is an office administrator? An office administrator has the responsibility to ensuring the administrative activities within an organization run efficiently by providing structure to other employees throughout the organization. These activities can range from being responsible for the management of human resources, budgets, and record, to undertaking the role of supervising other employees. These responsibilities can vary depending on the employer and level of education. Tips and techniques of an office administrator. First, have your core competence. You should be solid on everything, from basic office, organization skills, necessary software, all word processing program, database creation and management, communication skills, report generating basic accounting, supply ordering, phone manner, spelling, grammar, punctuation, scheduling, payroll, and budgeting. Second, prioritize your call. Is the call best taken now or later? You can pre-deduct everything on your agenda every time someone wants a long conversation with you. If a call will take 45 minutes in the middle of other time-sensitive tasks, ask to schedule a later time to talk. Tell them when you can make yourself available, then make the meeting official with a calendar invite. Try to make the important calls between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. This is great because getting calls out of the way helps begin the day productively. Third, take the initiative when appropriate. Have you noticed a procedure that isn't as effective as it could be? Every time an issue arises, do you get roped in fixing it? Why not take charge and solve the root of the problem? Come to your boss with a few actionable items that can help mend broken or inefficient procedures. You'll probably be met with gratitude. Fourth, don't panic. Putting out fires is part of the job. Learning to calmly handle unexpected emergencies will only make you more capable of handling crises in the future. Keep a list of important phone numbers handy for when you need them. The more scenarios and problems you take on and address, the easier your job gets down the road. Fifth and last, do not multitask. I know many readers will think, I work best when I multitask, when in fact, that may not be as true as you think it is. Creating a process flowchart for different tasks. What is process flowchart? A process flowchart is a diagram that shows the sequential steps of a process and the decisions needed to make the process work. Within the chart or visual representation, every step is indicated by a shape. These shapes are connected by lines and arrows to show the movement and direction of the process. Types of flowchart. Process flowchart, swim lane flowchart, decision flowchart, data flow diagram, workflow diagram.
Let's talk about process flowcharts. To improve a process, we first have to understand it. We have to capture it in the as-is state. And process mapping is a key first step to understanding our process. We have to know what steps are performed. So here are some of the common symbols we could use on our process map. We could use a square or a rectangle to represent an activity, like picking an order, packing an order, shipping an order, so on. And a diamond is going to represent a decision. And those decisions are going to have yes and no outputs. There's two paths out of them. And then we're going to use an ellipse to represent a start and an end point. And then we're going to use an arrow to represent directional flow. So those four symbols on the left are going to be the most common that we're going to use on a process map. And the symbols on the right are still used, just probably not as often. Now the symbol in the top right is a predefined process. So let's say we draw out our process map, and we have a sub-process that's been included, or maybe a series of steps that we may not fit on the diagram or may not make sense to include. It's a process that's defined somewhere else, a predefined process or a sub-process. And the funny-looking symbol right below that is a document. We could show that, when a document gets created in a process or updated perhaps. A circle could represent an on-page connector. So if we don't want to have lines crossing all throughout our process flow, we could use connectors to connect different points of the diagram. And then we could also use the symbol at the bottom to represent an off-page connector. So if we want to connect two process maps, maybe on different pages, we could use that off-page connector to do so. Now here's a simple example of a shipment process, a high-level shipment process. Okay, so we start the process, and then we pick the order. And then after we pick the order, we check to see if it's correct. If it's not correct, we have to go and repick it, correct the issue. If it is correct, we move forward, we pack that order, we send it to the carrier, and then we deliver it. And then it ends at that point. Now, this high-level process flow is sometimes called a macro process map or a management view. Now, as you create a process flow, you can go into varying levels of detail. And as an example, you could take the picking the order step and probably split it out even further. But you may not need to do so. Kind of depends on who your audience is, who you're communicating this process flow to. Now, what you don't see in this particular view is who does what. And that's where a swim lane, another version of this process flow diagram, comes in handy. And so what you're going to see on the left-hand side in this case are different groups or parties involved in the process. So the top swim lane represents the warehouse, activities they perform, and the bottom lane represents the carrier, activities that the carrier performs, like UPS or FedEx. And so when the process starts, the warehouse picks the order and checks to make sure it's accurate, and then they're going to pack the order and send it to the carrier, and then the carrier, like UPS, FedEx, or someone else, is going to deliver it, and then the process would end at that point. These swim lanes are really useful to represent who does what. It can be easily seen in the view. Now, as a note here, oftentimes these process flow diagrams are not enough information to train someone on the process. There's more detail needed behind that. And so oftentimes you'll take a process flow diagram and put it into what's called a standard operating procedure, which provides you more information about the background of the process, why it's needed, and then specific or more detailed steps, references to other documentation or templates that are needed. That can be included in the standard operating procedure. Those two things can go together.
Creating schedules and to-do list. To-do list is a list of everything that you have to do, with the most important task at the top of the list and the least important task at the bottom. By keeping such a list, you make sure that your tasks are written down all in one place so you don't forget anything important. Schedule. A schedule or timetable, as a basic time management tool, consists of a list of times at which possible tasks, events, or actions are intended to take place, or of a sequence of events in the chronological order in which such things are intended to take place. Scheduling is the process of creating a schedule. Scheduler is a person responsible for making a particular schedule. Effectively using Outlook, schedulers, planners.
Microsoft's Outlook software. And Outlook is best known for email, but it can also do other things such as calendaring, and it has a to-do list and some other things. So this is the beginner's guide to using Microsoft Outlook. Here I am on my Windows computer, and I'm going to do a search here in the lower left corner. I'll just search for Outlook. Now, there are different versions of Outlook. This one happens to be Office 365 Outlook. But if you have other versions of Outlook, they work very similarly. Even if you have an outdated version or even a future version of Outlook, will probably have most of these same features. So now with Outlook started up, the first thing it's doing is it's asking me for an email address. It wants to be set up. This version of Outlook on my computer is not set up at all. Now, in most cases, I bet most of you are watching this video because your company or your school or your organization has set up Outlook for you already. So this step you may not need to do. Having said that, it is possible to add more than one account to Outlook. And so let's take a look at how to add an account. I'm going to type in an email address of mine, and I'll click Connect. And it's trying to add this email address to my Outlook. It wants my password, And then I like to click this checkbox, Remember My Credentials, so that I don't have to type that in every single time that I access my email. And it looks like the account has been successfully added. Now at this point, I can add another email address. How about my Gmail account? I click Next, and it's trying to set up my Gmail account in Outlook. Again, I need to put in my password, click Connect. Now sometimes this doesn't work. So if you have any trouble with it, you can go here to Advanced Options and choose Let me set up my account manually. Click Done, and it should take you into your Outlook account. Okay, so here I am in Outlook, and now it's fully loaded up my email account. Now there's a lot to look at here, so let's talk about what we're seeing. First of all, Outlook is considered to be part of the Microsoft Office suite. And so if you're used to PowerPoint, Word, or Excel, you'll recognize these tabs and ribbons. Just like in those other programs, if you want to find a setting that's related to one of these tabs, you click on the tab. So I want to see all the folder settings. I click on Folder, and the ribbon changes to give me information about folders. What about sending and receiving? I click on the Send Receive tab, and I get information on the ribbon about Send Receive. So that's what this is. Now, most of your common options are here on the Home tab, Home ribbon, and then notice that each of the ribbons has some groups. So there's a Move group, there's a Delete group, a Respond group, etc. Now, there is one tab that's special, that's different, and that's the File tab. When you click on File, it takes you to what's called the Backstage view. This is kind of a behind-the-scenes view of your account settings. Now, earlier I gave you a glimpse into how to add a second email account into your Microsoft Outlook. If you ever want to do that again, this is what you would do. You would click on File tab. It takes you to the Backstage view, and then just click Account Settings, and it lets you add a new email account. So that's one aspect of what we're looking at here, the tabs and the ribbons that we have here at the top. Now let's look in the lower left corner of Outlook. This is what we call the navigation bar. And basically what it's doing is it's showing you the different tools that are built into Outlook. So the most commonly used Outlook tool is email. That's what this icon represents. And when you click on it, you see your email address here at the left, and you can read your emails and send emails. But let's click on the second symbol. The second symbol is the calendar. So this is another tool that's built into your Outlook program. Next to that, we have contacts. It's a list of people that you know, perhaps people that have emailed you, etc. And then next to that, we have a to-do list. And you can add items to your to-do list just by clicking and typing. And then tap Enter on the keyboard, and it adds an item to the to-do list. And then, of course, you can set things like a due date, a start date, etc. So this navigation bar is how you switch from one Outlook tool to the next.
And today we're going to demo how to use the Outlook Scheduling Assistant function. Let's get started. Scheduling Assistant is a great way to find a meeting time that works for everyone that you need to invite. Rather than parse through several calendars or send an email back and forth, proposing times, changing times, all that stuff, you can just use Scheduling Assistant. To start, make a new appointment or a new meeting. Fill out the information. Now the next steps you can do in any order. I'm just going to show you the way that I like to do it. I start by putting in the names of all the people I want to attend my meeting. Sometimes I even set a time that works for me. And then before you send it out, go up to the top, click the Scheduling Assistant tab. And in here, you'll be able to easily compare everyone's schedules. Even if you don't have the full access to their calendar, if they're within your organization, you'll still be able to see busy, free, tentative, that sort of thing. I hadn't planned this. I actually picked a small window when everyone is free. You can see there's no colored blocks in here, so this actually works. If it didn't, let's say I wanted to do it at 3. The top line will indicate if anyone has a scheduling conflict. And all these colors and shading are based on the regular busy, tentative, free, or out of office colors. If you want to know specifically who has a scheduling conflict, just look down, line it up with the name, and I can see that Paul and Mark are unavailable at this time. But I can also see other potential times for this meeting on this day where there are no scheduling conflicts. I could pick 9:30, 10, 2. The other thing to look out for is this grayed area. If someone set up their working hours in Outlook, those will be white. And anything gray means that's the end of their workday, so you shouldn't schedule something during this time. So based on this, what looks best and is going to give everyone a little leeway time would be to do it at 10 a.m. I select the time. You can see at the top, it's automatically changed the time of my meeting. And then I can just click send. That will send them an email with the normal invite that they can accept or decline. But chances are, since you already checked their schedule, it hopefully is a time that works for them. You can also do this on Outlook on the web. Open up your calendar, create a new event, invite attendees. And once you put your attendees in here, it's actually automatically going to start suggesting times when everyone is available. Over on the right is just a little preview for you can look day by day. But if you want to open up the full scheduling assistant like we saw before, click up at the top, and there, you can compare everyone's calendars to each other. This one will highlight it in red if there is a scheduling conflict, and in green if you're good to go. Click done and then send.
What is Microsoft Planner? Well, Microsoft Planner allows you to organize tasks for your team. What you could do is you could assign tasks to team members. You could check in on progress of tasks with your team. It allows you to efficiently track and distribute work across a team. Now, one way to think of it is it's like a to-do list. If you've ever used a to-do list before, it's very much focused on you as an individual. With Microsoft Planner, what it does is it's much more focused on the team. If you've ever used any products before, say for instance, Monday.com or Trello, Microsoft Planner will seem very familiar. Now today, to show you what Microsoft Planner is like, I pulled together a lot of how-to YouTube videos. Now it's really just me as an individual doing this, but imagine I had a team of people. Let's say I had some employees, part of my company, and we're pulling together videos. I'm going to show you how Planner could help with that. All right, well, enough talk. Why don't we jump on the PC and I'll show you how you can get started with Microsoft Planner. And you navigate to the website office.com. What you could do is you could click into Planner directly from here. If you don't have it on your homepage, you could click into all apps and then enter Planner through there. In this case, I've used it before and it shows up as one of my core app tiles. I'm going to click into Planner and this will load Planner on the web and not in Microsoft Teams. And here too, what I could do is here I could see all of my tasks. And so I'm on point to upload and I'm also on point to create a thumbnail for another video. So I have a few different tasks showing up in here. And this offers similar functionality where I could get charts or I could pull up the schedule view. So lots of similar functionality within Planner on the web. Here within Planner on the web, what I can also do is I'm going to click back into my video plan and here I get a similar view to what I had in Teams. All the functionality is pretty similar. If I click on the ellipses or the ... I get a few additional things here where I could add it to my favorites or maybe I create a copy of the plan. I could even export the plan to Excel. So I have a few additional options that I don't get in Teams, but overall Microsoft Teams provides all the core functionality within Planner. In fact, there's an easy way to get back to Microsoft Teams directly from Planner. All right, well that was a quick overview of how you could use Microsoft Planner to organize your team.
An ideal office management system. Office management system is one of the core components which leads to efficient functioning of a business venture. Office management refers to the entire process and procedure of managing office documents from all departments.
A good office management strategy can save your law practice money, increase productivity, prevent time wasting and chaos, and avert unnecessary claims against your law practice. Office Manual. An office manual, which is given to each staff explaining your law practice's policies and procedures, can prevent a lot of confusion. The office manual should include organizational structure, standard procedures and policies, accounting practices, risk management practices, employee terms and benefits, employee discipline, business continuity procedures. Make it available to everyone in the office, either electronically via a networked computer system or manually as part of your employee handbook. This will help ensure that all employees understand and apply standard procedures, protocols, and policies. Everyone in the firm will benefit. Standard procedures should include communicating with clients, professional secrecy, matter management, and dealing with complaints. If it's not practical to formulate an office manual, we suggest that staff or a designated lawyer maintains an active role in knowing the administrative processes within the firm. Schedule informal meetings with staff to discuss their concerns, problems, and/or provide solutions. Smaller law practices are more likely to feel the pinch if support staff leave overnight. Office diary. Missed critical dates are a universal problem. While easily recognizable in litigation and conveyancing practices, many law practices forget to manage critical deadlines for the practice itself, for example, tax, insurance. In addition to recording court dates, conveyancing deadlines, summons, writ filing deadlines, ensure that you and/or your designated staff include these dates in your office diary: tax returns and installments, renewals of leases, tenancies, insurance renewals, bar council subscription fees and related levies, review dates for account receivables, payment of utilities and services. A good diary system for office commitments will ensure smooth running of your law practice with minimal interruptions. File management. Be sure that you have a reliable system to track movement of files and documents, and that all office staff know this system. Ideally, this system should permit a file or document to be located easily and on short notice. Examples would include color-coding files, to chronologically filing correspondence. A periodic inventory of filing cabinets should be conducted to ensure that no files have escaped your system of review and updating. This inventory should be put on a duty roster and allocated to designated staff so that it is routinely performed. Store active files in a consistent place. Discourage staff from leaving active files, documents on their desks or in the open. This enables easy access to files, protection of confidentiality, and in the event there is a fire or flood, damage to the files can be minimized. Safe custody of files and documents. Clients entrust you with their vital documents to ensure that their requests, engagement terms, are performed efficiently and effectively. As such, you owe your clients a duty to protect these documents. Where possible, maintain critical documents such as land titles and wills, etc. in a fire flood-proof safe, not on file. Keep a central register which records all documents kept in the safe. At least one partner or lawyer should know how to access the safe and be available during office hours daily. Closed files. Ensure that you store closed files in an area of limited access for the requisite statutory period. The Bar Council rules and rulings sets out guidelines on time periods for retaining files. Summary. Good office management can be the foundation of your law practice's success. Everyone in your office should know the standard office procedures and client service protocols so that you have a satisfactory work environment. Bills are always paid and clients are happy with your service. A risk-aware culture will ensure happy staff that will feed your law practice's productivity and success.
Framework for an ideal office management. This is an example of framework of an ideal office management system. Under office management system are admin, principal, teaching staff, office staff, and students. Admin does user authentication, department creation, semester creation, month creation, batch creation, qualification creation, and manage various administrative activities, while the principal text messages, leave sanction, view faculty and student details, and personal settings. Teaching staff enter attendance, enter marks, enter CC and EC marks, upload study material, edit personal profile, online apply, leave, and settings. Office staff enroll the new student, view attendance and internal marks and take printouts. Send SMS and mail to the parents about the student's attendance and internal assessment marks. View individual student profile, salary calculation, and various fee collections. Students view their internal marks, month-wise attendance, link to university result page, download various applications, download study material, various general information. Making things easy as an administrator. Take responsibility. The first point to make is that the easiest way in which you can take work off your admin's plate is to assume responsibility for your own devices. Take time to create strong and unique passwords, or better yet, use a password manager. Not only will this save time for the IT team, but it will also increase the security level of your devices. Be safe. When browsing the internet, be sure to check that a website's address is genuine by looking for misspellings, and never enter personal information on a website that has no padlock in the browser search bar or locks the HTTPS at the beginning of the web address. Similarly, be wary of emails that seem out of the blue, and stop and think before opening any attachments or links. Listen. Make sure to listen to what the IT team tells you and follow their instructions. There is wealth of experience behind the shared guidance and wisdom. Taking the recommended steps can prevent problems further down the line, minimizing how much time both you and your company admins have to spend proactively fixing issues. Communicate. It is vital to maintain communication with your administrator. If there are any concerns with your work, it is always best to report them straight away, especially as it is often easy to forget about them and get wrapped up in something else. If you want them to help you, you need to help them too.